Alright, what's up? It's me, Mr. B, and we're about to get crazy. I'm gonna educate you noobs on this game. Alright, now, when you talk about who's the strongest of all these people, the answer is none. They're all equal. And I'll tell you why. Before you shut off the video, I'll explain in depth. Now, increase the balance bar length of elite units. Look at that, it's 60%, right? This is pretty much how the whole build goes. She's strong. She's really good against other people that are strong, especially against melee characters. Like, you're not going to tank her very easily. So, she's the strongest, in my opinion, versus the melee builds. Alright? Now, when you go to this person instead, this guy has only 15% balance bar length, which isn't even good at spec-in, honestly. What you want to spec-in, I had this exact build before I even watched this video, but if you want a more in-depth, I think OPS really knows what he's talking about. And just because we think a lot alike. You want to spec in Survivor, Possession, Fear, all that good stuff. Thunderstruck ability, you just want to put your traps out there, you want to max out your traps. It's a different strategy than when I play with other builds. You want that infernal energy, and you want to possess. So, the thing I think he's really strong with is possession. So, hunters, they're gonna get shit on a little bit because he specializes in hunters. One person I think is really strong against him though is Annie, because you kind of need range damage to get him sometimes because he can float around a lot. I'm just talking about in general, like the boss of right now. If you want to spec into what they're good at, you can always do that as well. These are some of the weakest, most fragile, like, units in the game, but they make up for it in abilities. The elite unit is far superior than the basic unit. Besides, you don't want to really spec too high. You want them to do the elites to do, like when they spawn in, you want them to do a pretty good Thunderstruck ability. You want to set your traps, do some more Thunderstruck, get your boss out there, cause havoc, possess people. That's pretty much the name of the game with this guy, is possession. So he's going to be really strong in that narrative of people that are susceptible to being, feared and everything else. Hunters, actually leaders might be really good against this particular build. Specific leaders that are that specialize in like having a high fear tolerance. Those are actually going to be pretty decent against up here. Now, when it comes to Necromancer, I'm just gonna tell you this is my favorite, but like they're really strong because like they're kind of like the jack of all trades. They got either high defense, even the skeletons, which is weird because you think they'd be the most fragile, right? But they got pretty high defense, okay speed, but their abilities are pretty good. Ash is amazing. Oh man, if people are saying he's not, it's fucking stupid. This guy's fucking nuts, dude. They're just not playing him well. You want to spec in these two categories especially, and like just when you summon them, you want them to be stronger. You want to spec high on damage, and by the end of the game, when you resurrect all your fallen allies, they're gonna come back so much fucking stronger after you done cause havoc on the field. Place him behind rocks so you can get those two major abilities out there, because his skeleton resurrection has some pretty good feet on it. It actually tells you somewhere, but it's like I don't know where it's at. but it has quite a bit of feet on that shit. Then they have the flute player, which is if you don't kill the flute player, the dice, you can hide it in places along with, you can place a bunch of 25 energy cost traps, and you can put it where you know they're going to run through and, you know, cause the traps to go. I know I talked a lot of shit about hunters, but if you spec right and you don't just ultimately think it's going to be a damage machine or a dodge machine or whatever, like, you're not going to one-shot bosses and shit, but you can make a pretty decent build with it. The best player against him, pretty much, because you need someone to get that flute player, Ed is a beast against the Necromancer. Just because his flashlight won't set off those traps that you already set. So if you have an Ed on the team and he's smart and he's good, another cool thing why I think Ed might be the best hunter in the game is his abilities. Like you're always going to find good loot, and you're always going to get really good drops. Like 99% of the time, anything you kill is either going to drop ammo or shields or sodas. Or 90% of the time, probably. It's a fucking very high percentage, but he also has the damage that ranged characters can do, but you're gonna have to invest something in fear, because I'm so sick of seeing these guys get fucking possessed so easily because everybody just wants to max out all that, and then they have nothing to put into keeping themselves from getting possessed and team wiping your whole fucking team. So if you play it smart, man, like, he also has the battery life. Some people say, oh, that's not even good. Yeah, dude, like, if you can keep this on, you're just gonna always stop traps from happening. And that, some people invest in traps, as I said, the puppeteer, and everything. One thing he might be, like, so, I think that's where people's mixing things up. Like, they're saying all this demons are all this demons are all this demons are. In certain situations, they all are, but they have counters, and you gotta take into effect those counters. Like, this hunter might also be good against the puppeteer. The only problem is, like I said, he's a possessed, so it's a double-edged sword. Like, hunters, in my opinion, are always going to be a liability because they don't. Unless you could level them up to level 50 or something, yeah, then they could invest in everything. But you're going to take a hit somewhere. You're going to take a hit in your damage. You're going to take a hit in your fear. Like, I'm being like everybody else, but I want to give as much damage as I can and get as much points as I can. But still, like, when you get in a hunter's game in the demon fight, say you get the bad RNG and you get the really small map compared to the other one. Demon time shoot really quickly. You're going to be shooting. People are like forgetting. Like, I don't know. Have you ever watched videos where people are like, "Oh, Hunter's so fucking broken and OP"? You ever watched like the playthrough that they do though? You ever watch how much ammo they actually have? Like by the end of it, and you know they're not playing against the most elite demons on the game. People lose. You can watch Swing Point all you want. I watch him on stream though. You can watch all the videos you want of him. He does lose, man. Everybody loses. Just because you make a video about something doesn't mean you're right about it. Don't, like, I get their damage potential, but their damage potential, like I said, if you want them to be that high damage against a smart demon, you're going to get possessed. Oh, drop your gun? That's fine if you drop your gun sometimes, man, because that's what the demon wants you to do. Like, you won't be able to tell where I drop my gun. And when you stand completely fucking still and there's a mob around you, I'm pretty sure you're dropping the fucking gun, man. It's not a hard tactic to understand, see what's going on. And they think that we're the ones that have a lot going on. A demon game, the best demons are patient. They're gonna buy the time and wait. When you do the daggers, another thing that's really good about Helios is the time it takes you to actually, where is it? Right here? To actually get the objective. Look at this perk look at that perk. He's always possessing people. You do master possession with this guy, and it's gonna take a little while to get this objective. Just to throw it out there, man. During such time, are you just gonna spam all your fucking elite units just in one spot, all your basic units in one spot, or are you gonna go around the circle and place your portals, like your traps that cost only 25? You can get all those done and almost immediately. I like to place my units outside of the zone, but then make them come in so they don't get that initial damage. When they first spawn in, they're just getting destroyed. That way, they at least have a fighting chance. And then, like say with this strategy, and then you separate the team with this strategy. After you like, here's the strategy with this guy, right? They're both different strategies. One's possession, one of them's Army of Darkness. Like when you spec into this character, right? And you have that flute player with the max range, and I'll tell you what the max range is, since for some reason it goes from yards to feet, but it's 60 yards, right? So you can just put a waypoint on your map, that way you know how far 60 yards is, and you can go about around 60 yards on the place that they'd have to run through to hit the most traps, which is going to cost more hectic. It's going to make them hard to beat the flute player. And you want to do that around mid, right? You don't want to just waste it. You want to be patient. You want to set your traps again after a bunch of skeletons already fucking died. Hopefully you get a bunch of elite units out there, like if you invest in traps, if you have time. I don't insist on just, like with this character, I like to get my possession, elites, basics, and my boss all done, and then traps if I can, right? Because basics are kind of good on this character, because they're pretty quick and they can close the gap. The elites are slow moving, so you can run away, dodge. A lot of those people are shooting them in the fucking back of the head. But once you get like all that done, they're dead. Then you want to place your traps along a line where you put the flute player in a hard position where they have to actually send some teammates to get them, or at least one. And then after you do that, and then you spawn everything that you can, like on the outskirts a little bit, so they'll come in. Then you put your ash wherever the survivors are not, behind a rock, whatever you gotta do. Throw in your spawn in your special people. Then you want to do the resurrect. Somebody's going for the flute player, or they're all gonna die. They have to, and that's a lot of shit for three people minimum if they don't spawn extra flute players. And it's harder to find the flute player when you have that extra range, because you gotta listen. You ever been there and you're like, what the fuck is this flute player? It's because you invested in that range. You can also put a waypoint on one side of the map, one edge of the circle, and then go to the opposite end circle. They'll see that, oh, that's where the red is, right? That's where that's where you spawn the skeletons, so the flute player is past them, because that's the strategy you can do. But really, they're feeding into your little trap. They'll be looking on the wrong side. That requires even more time for Ash to do his job. He'll spawn in way stronger units. They'll be doing so much more damage. These guys hit like a fucking freight train when you level them up. And I'm just going to tell you, you're taking about 40% of their health if you land a heavy. That's probably 20 units surround, like, dude, they can talk all the shit they want. It's not easy to face 20 fucking units with a boss out with your team separated. It's not the easiest thing in the world. Then you gotta take in the fact that if you get bad RNG and you get the smaller map, your resources are gonna be low anyways. Pretty much the small map. This game is RNG based. If you have a really good team, you still can lose against a good human, depending on the RNG that you guys get. That's what I like about this. I think this is the most balanced asymmetrical game out there. All the characters have their own strengths and benefits. Hunters kind of, and some maps have limited resources, so if you don't have a coordinated team and you're just soloing, it's probably better to get a more reliable warrior who, in early game, it don't take as long to loot because you're not the little shit demons that you are fighting. Isn't going to take forever. I don't care what you say. It takes like shit, so much time to kill some of these. Like, say blue guys are hunting, like they're going to be swinging, and you're going to be increasing the fear, which most people won't spec in this game. Let's be honest. I see so many people not specking in fear, but I think that's how the game is. Like, they all have strengths, they all have weaknesses. This chick is really good against warriors, but hunters can still melt her. And as of right now, is the best leader in the game. She is completely broken. I underestimated her greatly. Every team should have an Annie if you're going to go with Goat Squad. Even if a warriors, dude, I'll show you why. When activate this hero, any teammate around her, so it's 45-second cooldown, which is short, 15-second duration, which is long, and the damage is 100%, which is insane. She needs a nerf. You and all teammates around this aura deal 10% more damage. You could also boost it with that. If I'm playing with a team, I might. But I kind of like the early game for me not to have too much trouble looting and getting the things I need to make myself successful. When I also invest in melee first, and then because of that, the early game, and then I invest in hollow points. That's the only character I think I do that with, and then fear, because I don't want to invest a whole lot of points into fear with this person, because you'd have to go that far into the skill tree. So with the leader character, you invest your during game in the fear. You're probably not going to get possessed anyways, as long as you're good at managing it. Now here's where she shines. Everybody within the radius is 25% balance bar damage to basics. Like in the early game, when you add all this, she's really good. Because everybody, the whole team, at all times. This is when it makes her nutty. Balance bar damage to elite units is 25%, and balance bar damage to boss units is 100%, which means if your warriors go after a boss, that guy's going to be slumped over, she's going to shoot him in the head, making his ability, and he's going to die. She's a boss destroyer. The bosses are currently pretty strong if you play them correctly. Okay, that's the next character that probably needs a little nerf, but at the same time, I don't think so. They say he's broken in OP, but that's when the game first came out. I don't really have much trouble against any of these characters. The thing I have much trouble against when I play Demon is the huge map RNG, not finding people within a minute and a half, like I do on the smaller map. One map is twice as big as the other, so obviously it's going to make it hard. And that's about the only time that they even have a chance versus me, because people just haven't figured out the game yet. When you load in the solo queue, there's usually multiple ranked ones, and I'm not going to get any more into detail. Let me know what you guys think about this video. Let me know if it's helpful and if it makes sense, because oh, by the way, his balance bar damage. One also really cool thing about this guy is it don't take much to make his elite stronger with maximum health and balance bar, and they're actually pretty good. They're worth investing in. Keeps them alive just a little bit longer. Balance bar length of basic unit. Then they add the infernal energy, which is huge. Resistance to damage bar damage, balance bar damage, and maximum health. Now, I used to say that infernal energy is a waste of skill points and you should be putting it elsewhere. Like against a good team, I still agree with that. Like, infernal energy is all good and all for early game. It's probably best on Necromancer to invest in infernal energy if we're going to talk about the best character to invest it in. It does get you infernal energy, but at the end of the game, when like especially on the big map, at the end of the game, what do you want more? Do you want Infernal Energy when you have unlimited energy, or do you want basics, elites, boss, and possession completely maxed out, and sometimes even traps? You can max out every one of those, even if you have a bad run. Just because once you do start fighting them, you're going to start getting the mad points. That's the things you want to invest in priority, but if you think you might have a chance to kill this team early, then yeah, Infernal Energy's great to invest in early on. It might also be good with this person because their units are so tanky, and putting more out there will increase your Infernal Energy. But if you just placing doing Infernal Energy and your basics are getting one shot, your elites are getting one shot and everything else, then you're just not getting very much, they're barely losing resources with it. So putting out a stronger basic, a stronger elite and all that, you actually gotta spend more resources, and you might get a couple swings in before you get one shot. You know what I'm saying? So I still think that Infernal Energy isn't the best strategy, but it's a good early game killer. The other 4 categories are much more important. That's during game, by the way, updates. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and maybe see a little bit from it. I would like to do an advance, like, I see so many people that make mistakes as the demon on this game. I still do it, and I know this when I do it too, which makes me a better player. But everybody's strategy is different, and I like to take pieces from everybody's strategy, infuse it with my own strategy, and come up with the best one. Because I don't want to just settle for being good at this game. I want to be great. And that's what separates me and some other streamers from the rest of the pack. So if you guys want an advanced tutorial on Demon, like I will go in extreme in depth. I'll share every bit of knowledge I have because I see so many mistakes being made. And you will probably become one of the best demons in the world. I appreciate you guys, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope it taught you a little bit. I'll see you next time.